the reconstitution of the gazettement of the board to enable regulation and monitoring of land transaction, mainly of the
I raise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Labor and Social Welfare regarding the mismanagement and financial impropriety in the sports sector. So, Speaker, in the statement, the committee should evaluate the effectiveness of the existing internal control mechanisms, information technology and accounting systems at the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, SSDEF, in preventing any leakages and ensuring prudent utilization of resources. Number 2, provide a comprehensive report on all financial assistance, including grants and subsidies, provided to federations from the financial year 2019-2020 to date, specifying what each federation received and the criteria used in the distribution. So, Speaker, provide an account of all funds, particularly interest, utilized for the World Rally Championships from 2021 to date, also explain the delay in disbursement payments owed to former World Rally Championship Secretariat. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, inform the Senate of the findings of the most recent forensic audit pertaining to the construction of Jamhuri Posta Grounds, Nairobi City County, Jomo Kenyatta Showground Stadium, Kisumu County, Wanguru Stadium in Kirinyaga County, and Kirigiti Stadium in Kiambu, providing justification for the procurement processes adopted for each project. Mr. Speaker, finally, explain any steps taken by the government to recover any payments exceeding the market price, along with any advance payments made for project mobilization for the specified projects, Mr. Speaker, sir. My second statement, request for statement on non-compliance in the construction of interchanges along the Nairobi Western Bypass. Mr. Speaker, sir, I raise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Roads and Transportation on the state of Nairobi Western Bypass, with specific reference to non-compliance in the construction of interchanges. In the statement, the committee should, 1, Mr. Speaker, sir, explain why China Roads and Bridges Camp Corporation omitted the construction of 6 interchanges along the Nairobi Western Bypass, yet they were approved in the initial plan at the cost of Kenya shillings 21.5 billion, and confirm whether public participation was conducted on the decision to omit the interchanges. Mr. Speaker, state whether there was any variation in the project and indicate the cost of variation, stating whether it was compliant with the law. Number 3, Speaker, sir, explain the role of Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, in the non-compliance of the project, detailing any action taken against the persons responsible, considering that KENHA was the supervising agency of the project. Mr. Speaker, sir, finally, outline any measures Ministry of Roads, Transport has put in place to mitigate against the dangers posed by the lack of interchanges at the Western Bypass to members of the public using the bypass, since the route serves busy commercial centers and also commercial vehicles. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Crystal Asige.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget concerning the lack of necessary frameworks in Nairobi and Mombasa counties to receive climate action funding under the Financing Locally Led Climate Action FLOCA program. In the statement, the committee should state the level of awareness that the county leadership and relevant departments in Nairobi and Mombasa have regarding the FLOCA requirements, stating the percentage of funding allocated to climate action activities in the financial year 2023-24. assess institutional capacity and state deficiencies noted that have prevented the two counties from establishing the necessary frameworks for accessing these FLOCA funds, and recommend interventions, if any. Establish how counties are integrating disability-inclusive adaptation and rapid response measures in their climate action programs, stating measures to ring-fence projects and interventions specifically for persons with disabilities under the program. Disclose whether stakeholders within these counties, including civil society, private sector, grassroots communities, and vulnerable groups, have been involved in the process of establishing legal frameworks for climate action interventions, and state the barriers to effective stakeholder engagements, if any. Undertake a fiduciary review of the FLOCA program since it began. Consider the challenges and recommend necessary legal or admin recommendations to ensure compliance by all counties. And consider strategies on how best to support counties to move from adverse and qualified audit opinions to unqualified audit opinions, following flagged out audit queries from the County Office of the Auditor General report for the financial year 2022-23, as outlined in the Green Book review. Speaker, I would like to go to my next statement, kindly.
Proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Speaker. My second statement, Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security and Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the alleged physical assault and arrest of Simona Lemomo, a visually impaired human rights advocate, at the Ongata Rongai police station. In this statement, the committee should report on the circumstances surrounding this alleged attack that occurred on the 27th of February 2024 at the Ongata Rongai police station. Provide a comprehensive report on investigations into this alleged incident, stating whether those found culpable have been arrested and arraigned in court for prosecution. Outline the protocols followed by law enforcement agencies in handling cases of potential conflict involving PWDs. Explaining any comprehensive measures in place to ensure the protection of such persons and other vulnerable individuals from police brutality. Expand on any training programs in place for police officers to enable them to recognize and appropriately respond to PWDs, including the visually impaired, with a view to preventing the recurrence of similar incidences. And finally, Speaker, state any measures the ministry has put in place to offer support services to victims of such violence, particularly those with disabilities, in seeking justice and accessing the necessary resources for recovery. I thank you.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 57-1. The Senate Majority Leader. Statement pursuant to Standing Order 58, the Senator Fernandi.
Thank you, Speaker. My apologies. I thought it was coming tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Personal statement on malicious disruption of communication services and call for intervention regarding the X corporation, which is Twitter. So, Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 58 to make a personal statement concerning the actions of social media platform X corporation, formerly Twitter, in denying me assistance and access to my verified X or Twitter account. So, Speaker, sir, I stand before you today to address a grave and serious matter that undermines the democratic principles that we all dear. So, Speaker, sir, effective communication with our constituents is a cornerstone of our responsibilities as representatives. Regrettably, I must draw your attention to a severe infringement of my ability to serve Kenyans due to the actions or rather inaction of X Corporation. So, Speaker, sir, since November 2023, my verified account on X platform with over 329,700 Kenyan followers and across the globe, because I'm an international celebrity, has been inaccessible without explanation or remedy. Despite repeated emails, Mr. Speaker, and formal demand letter, X Corporation has remained unresponsive. This silence equates to the muzzling of an important channel.
Senator Fonandi,
Yes.
you are supposed to read the statement as approved by the Speaker.
Yeah. Okay.
So proceed to withdraw the element that was not contained in the approved statement.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I withdraw that part of the statement. And I
part?
stand guided.
Which part are you?
The one of international celebrity.
Okay,
And
proceed.
replace it with village celebrity. No, sorry, and withdraw it all together,
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker. Of an important, I know Bishop is happy, of an important channel of engagement between myself and the public. Mr. Speaker, sir, these malicious actions violate my freedom of speech and set a dangerous precedent. The inability to access a platform for which communication services were paid disproportionately affects those of us in African nations. The lack of an accessible, responsible mechanism exposes prejudice against our continent. If a sitting senator can experience this, it raises questions about Kenyan citizens and African citizens would be treated in similar circumstances. Mr. Speaker, sir, we cannot allow multinational corporations to operate with impunity. Their actions must not be allowed to undermine the democratic rights of anyone, including elected representatives. I believe X Corporation, formerly Twitter, actions warrant an investigation by the Kenyan government and this parliament and require diplomatic engagement with the American government. Mr. Speaker, sir, as a follow-up and action, I seek that the Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and Digital Economy provides a report and offers detailed insight into the existing mechanisms of government action and recourse for Kenyans facing similar prejudice. Number two, Mr. Speaker, that the Cabinet Secretary initiates formal communication with X Corporation explicitly outlining the violation of Kenyan law and expressing strong condemnation of the action and discriminatory implications. Number three, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Cabinet Secretary explores diplomatic channels with the American government and emphasizes the need for multinational tech companies to operate ethically and responsibly, especially when their services are offered in return of payment, regardless of geographic location where we are. Mr. Speaker, sir, without decisive action, Kenyans, both private citizens and the holding offices, will remain vulnerable to the capricious whims of multinational corporations. Let our message be unequivocal, Mr. Speaker. African voices will not be silenced, intimidated, or blackmailed, and of those attempts to do so will be held accountable, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, I urge this House to stand with me, protect the digital rights of every Kenyan and every African, and I wish to emphasize that my account has not been banned, suspended, or deactivated. Rather, I have only been denied access rights by the X Corporation or Twitter on an issue that can easily be sorted, but it is out of discrimination, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask you, we stand together, not only as Kenyans, but as Africans, against this discrimination. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader, you can make your statement pursuant to Standing Order 57.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1 to present the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 7th of May, 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, as indicated on today's order paper, at order number 8, the Division of Revenue National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 has been listed for consideration at the Committee of the Whole stage. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to remind members of the timelines that we mentioned last week on the need to conclude on this business today. And I humbly request, Mr. Speaker, that even as I conclude my statement, the whips from both sides of the House, Whip Sifuna and Whip Alwale, get on, if they can gladly leave their phones, as I can see both of them are, as we speak, Mr. Speaker, and get on to business of preparing the House so that we conclude on this business very urgently. If it was a radio set, Mr. Speaker, given where the two gentlemen come from, I would have understood. But I don't understand this obsession with mobile phones, Mr. Speaker. That order, we need to conclude on it. I also wish to emphasize, Mr. Speaker, on the importance of the motion on the status of pending bills in our counties, which has been listed in today's order paper number 20. As highlighted in the motion, pending bills accumulated in the counties had far-reaching negative consequences, including the hindrance of counties' ability to sustain operations. To this end, it is imperative that the Senate considers and passes this motion in order to require counties to prioritize the settlement of pending bills. Mr. Speaker, there have been amendments to this particular motion, which members can read, Mr. Speaker, but I still feel we need to do more. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I will point out to you that a few weeks ago, before we proceeded on the long recess, you did direct that the office of the clerk does organize for the Senate in plenary to have a meeting with the controller of budget. And that was to happen when we resume from the recess. This is now the second week from recess, Mr. Speaker, and that is yet to happen. I insist that that is an important exercise which we need to undertake so that Senate can conclude on its this very important business. Mr. Speaker, sir, the SBC will meet on Tuesday, the 7th of May, 2024, to consider the business for the week commencing Tuesday 7th, Mr. Speaker, all the way to Thursday. There are various bills that are at the second stage, which include the County Public Finance Laws, the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihoods Bill, the Energy Amendment Bill, NCA, National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, Meteorology Bill, Statutory Instruments Bill, and there are motions also that have been scheduled for debate that week, which include the monthly car-free day and county car-free zones, the report of the 147th Assembly of the IPU and related meetings held in Luanda, Angola, from the 23rd to the 27th of October 2023, and third, a motion on the establishment of national teaching and referral hospitals in Kenya. The tentative business schedule for Wednesday, 8th May, Mr. Speaker, will include questions approved by the SBC at its meeting on the 23rd of April. Mr. Speaker, the summary of the questions addresses to the CS4, Interior and National Administration, are known and listed, Mr. Speaker. The tentative business in the afternoon, Mr. Speaker, will be the Wildlife Conservation and Management Bill, the Nuts and Oils Crop Development Bill, Mr. Speaker, as well as a host of other bills that are listed. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I wish to request that colleagues do avail themselves for consideration of that business as listed. Many of them, we have important bills, Mr. Speaker, that we need to conclude on so that we conclude on our mandate. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Now, honorable senators, before I call order number 8, allow me to make the following communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of a delegation of the County Assembly of Kajiado. The delegation is undertaking benchmarking visit to the Bunge regulated non-withdrawable deposit-taking SACCO. They are accompanied by officials of the SACCO. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation, and on behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Also, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, 20 members of the staff from the county assemblies of Bungoma, Siaya, Mandera, and officers from the Parliamentary Service Commission. The officers are undertaking a capacity building program on safety and security management in the legislature at the Center for Parliamentary Studies, CPST. Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on behalf, I extend a warm welcome and wish them a fruitful visit. Also in the public gallery, we have 30 students and 2 teachers from Bishop Cavalera Girls High School in Marsabit County who are undertaking a one-day education visit in the Senate. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them on behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will allow the Senator for Kajiado under 1 minute to extend words of welcome to welcome the delegation from Kajiado County. And then I will allow the Senator for Bungoma, on behalf of Bungoma, Siaya, and Mandera. Is Senator Wafula? Is the Senator for Siaya? Yes, so on behalf of Bungoma, Siaya, and Mandera, you welcome the 20 members of staff from those 3 counties. And then lastly, the Senator for Marsabit. Under 1 minute, you extend words of welcome to the 30 students and the 2 teachers who are in the public gallery. In that order. Proceed, Senator for Kajiado.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to thank the team from Kajiado County Assembly, who are the staff of the County Assembly, on a benchmarking mission to Bunge SACCO, as indicated by the Speaker, and Parliamentary SACCO, to learn more about the operations and the management of the SACCOs within the Parliament. And I want to welcome you to this chamber, where we senators from all the 47 counties, together with the delegations of 40. And in the county, in our county, we have 2 delegations, Senator Mundet, Betty Mundet, and Senator Peris Tobiko, who are also colleagues in this Senate. And I want really to thank you for choosing to benchmark within the parliamentary organizations that are also providing services to the parliamentarians. So thank you very much. Welcome. And as you go back home, I hope you'll have learned quite a lot. And I'm looking forward to see you starting the SACCO in your county assembly and the entire executive of the Kajiado County. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Senator for Siaya, avoid the kind of speech that has just been made by the Senator for Kajiado. Make it under 1 minute.
The Senator for... Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity to welcome the delegation from the 3 counties of Bungoma, Siaya, and Mandera. Yeah, and Mandera. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. You have made a good choice to come to the Senate. This Senate is meant to defend and also represent counties, and you will not regret your presence here. I want to thank you very much for choosing to come instead of, this is the upper house of Parliament, and we are very, very grateful to you for having chosen to come to our Senate to listen. Thank you very much and feel welcome. Feel welcome. Thank you.
Yes, proceed, Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me also join you in welcoming teachers and students from Cavalera Girls' School. This is a school which is situated in Karare of Saku constituency. I'd want to ask the teachers and the students, Honorable Speaker, this is a school which is doing very, very well in Marsabit. It's a girls' school which is among the top best, and I want to congratulate them, the teachers also, and I will want to ask them to do even much better. And let me take this opportunity to pray for them to go well back home and make sure that they will work very, very hard. Asante sana. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Next order, clerk.
Order number 8, Committee of the Whole, the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024. Order number 9, Committee of the Whole, the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2023. Order number 10, Committee of the Whole, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023.
Honorable members, you may now resume your seats. Kindly resume your seats. Resume your seats. Members, order, honorable members. Senator Manzo, Senator Cherargei, order. Resume your seats. Senator Cherargei, Senator Gloria, order, Senator Gloria. Order, members. Honorable members, let us settle down. We want to go to the committee of the whole. Senator Chute, do not leave the chamber. Senator Oburu, resume your seat. Senator from Nandi. Senator from Nandi, let us settle down. Honorable senators, we are proceeding to division, Committee of the Whole on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024. And honorable members, we will proceed to deal with the clauses, clause 3, 4, and 5.
Let me call that. Clauses 3, 4, and 5.
Clauses 3, 4, and 5. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the schedule be part of the bill. And I want to ask the mover, the chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. I'll take that as well. Clause 3, 4, and 5. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 3, 4, and 5 be part of the bill. And I put the question that clauses 3, 4, and 5 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
The schedule.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the schedule be part of the bill. And it's at this point that I call upon the chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, to move.
Honorable Chair, I propose that the bill be amended by deleting the schedule and substituting therefore with the following schedule as published in the order paper.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the schedule be amended as proposed and put the question that the schedule be amended as proposed. Division at the end.
Clause 2, the title, and Clause 1.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that Clause 2, the title, and Clause 1 be part of the bill. And I put the question that Clause 2, the title, and Clause 1 be part of the bill. Division at the end. Honorable members, we are done with conversing on the amendments as proposed on the division of revenue bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024, and we will proceed to deal with the next bill shortly before we go for division on the conflict of interest bill. Honorable Senators, we now move to consider the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill, and I put the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
The title and Clause 1.
Under the title and Clause 1, honorable members, I propose the question that the title and Clause 1 be part of the bill, and I put the question that the title and Clause 1 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
Chair, it's just a matter of procedure, because you had called the conflict of interest bill, and after consultation with the majority, I think a decision has been taken that you suspend that. So I think you should go on record that that bill really will have to be suspended for now. He had called it. It's on record. He had called it. but he called the bill. Just drop it. That's what it is.
Okay, honorable members, we have concluded on these two bills, the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14, and which had amendments, and County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023, which did not have any amendment.
Just a moment. We're proceeding to division. Let's ring the bell.
Sergeant at Arms, honorable members, we are proceeding for division, and the Sergeant at Arms ring the bell for 5 minutes.
No, 10. 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yes, 10 minutes.
Well, that is the committee over the whole house stage, considering 3 bills that had been scheduled to be considered at the committee over the whole house stage. Remember, at this stage is for the bills that have been read for the second time, with the debate on them having been concluded on the floor of the House at the second reading stage. In case there were amendments that during the debate members had raised, then it is at this point that such amendments are considered and adopted before the bill moves for third reading. So the 3 bills include the Division of Revenue Bill. This is a bill that is originating from the National Assembly, and it is a bill that is bill number 14 of 2024, a bill that is co-sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader, Honorable Aaron Cheruiyot. This is a bill that had received a number of amendments with regards to the monies that had been, or rather the monies that will be or need to be allocated to the county governments once the budget for the 2024-2025 financial year is done. The National Assembly had proposed that the county governments be allocated 391.1 billion Kenya shillings for that particular financial year. This is 2024-2025 as equitable share of revenue raised nationally. This would have been an increase from a base of 374.5 billion Kenya shillings that had been allocated in the financial year 2023-2024. In this particular amendment that members were considering at the committee of the whole house stage with regards to those funds, is that during the debate on Tuesday at the second reading stage, senators had proposed that the monies be raised all the way to 415 billion Kenya shillings. This be the money that would go to the counties for the next financial year. So this was one of the amendments, actually the amendment that members had considered at the national, at the floor of the House in the committee of the whole house stage for the Division of Revenue Bill, Bill number 14 of 2024. as indicated by the leader of the majority at the Senate, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, is that this particular bill, or the process that the bill has to go through, is time-bound, owing to the time that the budget process takes, and it's a bill that will be going back to the National Assembly, so it has to go through all the processes at the Senate ahead of the recess that the National Assembly will be taking, and this part of the businesses that would be considered in the budget making process. So that is one of the bills that at that committee of the whole house stage, chaired by Wakili Sigei, is that that was one of the bills that has been considered. The second bill is the conflict of interest bill, also a bill that is originating from the National Assembly. The conflict of interest bill, bill number 15 of 2023. This is a bill that is co-sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader as well. And currently is that the bills, the committee of the whole house stage, the bills have already been considered at the committee of the whole house stage, and the process needs to move to the next stage. The process has to move to the next stage, and therefore the bell is on to enable the members to enable the members walk into the chambers and conclude on the business at the committee of the whole house stage. The amendments that had been brought with regards to the conflict of interest bill includes amendments on clause 3, which is on amending to bring on board a new paragraph that is enhance public confidence in the integrity of public office and delivery of a public service. Just to remind you is that the conflict of interest bill is a bill that seeks to provide for the management of conflict of interest in the discharge of official duties. This is a bill that defines situations that amount to conflict of interest and imposes obligations on public officers to avoid situations that would result in conflict of interest. It prohibits public officers from engaging in activities that would cause conflict between private interests and public interest or official duty. It also creates offenses for engaging in prohibited activities that result in conflict of interest, or for failing to declare situations where private interests conflict with or are likely to conflict with public interest. It also prohibits former public officers from engaging in activities that will result in conflict of interest after ceasing to be a public officers, or rather a public officer. So those are some of the proposals in this bill. Amendments had been brought forward with regards to this bill. The amendments on clause 3 seek to bring on board new paragraph that is enhance public confidence in the integrity of public office and delivery of public services. There were also amendments to clause 13, 15, 19, 27, also insertion of a new paragraph, act for or on behalf of any person in connection with any specific proceeding, transaction, negotiation, or case in which a reporting authority is a party and with respect to which the former public officer had acted for or provided evidence to the reporting authority. Remember, this bill, as I had read it to you or shared with you on its the object of it, also talks about a public officer who has ceased to be a public officer. So in this case, this one indicates with respect to which the former public officer had acted for or provided advice to the reporting authority. So this is a bill that had also amendments to clause 34, 41, also insertion of a new clause that indicates if the commission or a reporting entity fails to conclude the investigations within 90 days, the investigations shall be deemed to have been concluded at the expiry of the 90 days, and the officer shall resume his or her duties. Insertion of a new paragraph. Remember, one of the objects of the bill is that it provides for the lodging of complaints and conduct of investigations. It sets out the procedure for reporting any violation of the Act to the Commission and to reporting entities. It also provides for temporary vacation of office. All right, allow me to hand you over back to the House business. Well, the chair of the Committee of the Whole House Stage, Wakili, or rather Honorable Wakili Sigei, has directed that the bell be rung for a further 10 minutes. So we shall continue to take a look at the details of these bills that the members were considering at the Committee of the Whole House Stage. Clause 41, which is one of the amendments that is part of this bill, insertion of a new clause, which talks about the commission. It says if the commission or a reporting entity fails to conclude the investigations within 90 days, the investigations shall be deemed to have been concluded at the expiry of the 90 days, and the officer shall resume his or her duties. Back to the object of the bill is that the bill provides for compliance measures. It sets out the steps that a public officer should take in situations where the public officer's private interests conflict or are likely to conflict with public interest and official duty. The steps include recusal, declaration of income, assets and liabilities by public officers, and divestiture. It also provides for the lodging of complaints and conduct of investigations. It sets out the procedure for reporting any violation of the Act to the Commission and to reporting entities. It also provides for temporary vacation of office by public officers who are under investigations, and stipulates the recommendations that may be made by the Commission to a reporting entity upon the conclusion of investigations.
Honorable members, let's resume our seats. We now have the receipt number to proceed to division. Senator Nyutu and Senator Halwale. Senator Halwale, Senator Nyutu, kindly resume your seats. Senator Madzayo and Senator Cherargei, take your seats. Sergeant at Arms, you may now stop the bell so that we proceed to the next. Sergeant at Arms, you may draw the bar and close the door. Honorable members, we are now going to divisions on the bill, on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024. Divisions. The schedule. Divisions, the schedule is amended. Honorable members, I put the question that the schedule as be amended as proposed. To all clauses, I put the question. Members, let us proceed to log out. Sergeant at Arms, you may also collect cards from unattended units. Just hold the cards on unattended slots are being collected. You may now log in. You can proceed to vote. Senator Sifuna, could you approach the clerk's desk? Senator Okiya Omtata. Honorable Senators, we now go to the next division, and this is a division on all clauses. And I put the question that Clause 3, Clause 4, Clause 5, the schedule as amended, Clause 2, the title, and Clause 1 be part of the bill. Proceed to vote. Senator Madzayo. Senator Madzayo, proceed to get assisted to vote. Senator Alan Chesang. Senator Karugu Thangwa. Senator Okoiti Omtata. Senator Boni Halwale, approach the clerk. Senator Boni Halwale. Honorable Senators, these are the results of the voting on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024 on schedule and new clauses. This is an all clauses. Ayes 30, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. On all clauses, ayes 30, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it. We are now proceeding to the next, that is the division on the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023. On all clauses, Honorable Senators, on all clauses, Honorable Senators, I put the question that Clause 2, the title, and Clause 1 be part of the bill. You may proceed to vote. Senator Okia Omtata. Senator Kathuri Murungi, Deputy Speaker, approach the clerk, and Senator Julius Murgor approach the clerk as well. Honorable Senators, these are the results of the division on the bill. Ayes 30, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. With that, honorable members, we are moving now to reporting, and I call upon the chairperson, to move. That is the mover of the bill, Senator Ali Roba. Senator Ali Roba, proceed to move. Proceed to move.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable Senators, I now put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments. And will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
This one is without amendments.
I now call upon the mover on the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023 to move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, Honorable Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate do agree with the Committee of the Whole in the said report. And I request Senator Utsosi to second.
Senator Cherargei, you are moving the...
Oh, sorry. Can I take it again?
Please take it again.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Chairperson, sorry, I beg to move that the Committee of the Whole do report to the Senate its consideration of the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023, and its approval therefore without amendments.
Honorable members, I now put the question that the Committee of the Whole do report to the Senate its consideration of the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendments. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, let's rise.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Please don't leave.
Okay. Honorable Senators, we are on reporting on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you. The mover. Who is the mover? A majority leader? Who is the mover of this bill?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee on the said report. I request the Senator for Makueni to second.
Senator Manzo.
Mr. Speaker, I second. Okay. I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the Senate report. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the Senate report. As many of the similar opinion say aye. As those of contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now read a third time. I request the Senator for Lamu to second.
Senator Githuku.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
Thank you. Senators, I propose the question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024 now be laid another time. Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024 be now laid at that time. We now go to division. Do we need to ring the bell? Or so we are voting electronically, members. Sorry? We want to vote? Okay, okay, fine. Let's report on the other bill. The County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Mover. Senator Chalgay.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate do agree with the Committee of the Whole in the said report, and I request Senator Otsotsi to second.
Senator Otsotsi, do the needful.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
I did not hear you properly, Senator Otsotsi. Kind.
You didn't hear? Honorable Speaker, I second.
Yeah, good. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate do agree with the Committee of the Whole in the Senate report. I put the question that the Senate do agree with the Committee of the Whole in the Senate report. As many as of the similar opinion say aye. As those of a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Mover.
Mr. Speaker, Chair, I beg to move that the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25, be now read at that time, and I request my sister, Senator Beatrice Ogola, to second.
Senator Beatrice Akinyi Ogora.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
Thank you. Honorable Senators, I now propose the question that the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023, be now read at that time. I can see no interest on this. So I put the question that the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023, be now read at that time. We now go to the division. We start with the first one, the Division of Revenue Bill. Okay, fine. So let's go to division. number 14 of 2023, and I put the question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024 be now read at that time. If you have logged in, proceed to vote. Honorable Senators. Honorable Senators, let's go to the next division on the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023. And I put the question that the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023 be now read at that time. So if you are logged in, proceed to vote. So, honorable senators, can you resume your seats kindly? Senator Manzo. Now, these are the results of the division. On the first bill, the division of revenue bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2024. Ayes 30, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county governments in the 2024-2025 financial year and for connected purposes.
This is the results of the second division. Senator Tom Ojenda, you're out of order. Can you assume your seat? The results for the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2023. Ayes 30, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide to amend the County Governments Act to increase the threshold for removal of a member of a county executive committee and for connected purposes.
Honorable Senators, I want to reorganize the order paper this afternoon. Therefore, from the order appearing number 11, we skip 11, order number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We go to order number 20. Clerk.
Order number 20, motion, status of pending bills, resumption of debate.
He was on the floor. You have the records? If you don't have, then I can have a senator. Okay, Senator Medhu, and a balance of 10 minutes. If he's allowed, he can utilize his minutes. And if not, then we go to Senator Manzo Daniel Kitonga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute on this very important matter. Mr. Speaker, pending bills are nationally, they are pending in the national government, and they're also pending in the county government. In the county government, Mr. Speaker, is a very serious matter. As you have seen from the motion, Mr. Speaker, the county, the Nairobi City County, has accumulated the largest share of Kenya shillings, 107,037,053,000, followed by Kiambu and Mombasa counties at 5 billion, almost 6 billion, and Mombasa almost 4 billion shillings. Mr. Speaker, when you have so much pending bills in the nation and in the counties, Mr. Speaker, it means, first of all, you are holding businessmen at ransom. Mr. Speaker, it means that businessmen have been crushed, they are unable to work, they are at home, and their businesses most probably are closed down. Mr. Speaker, this happened in Machakos County one time, and quite a number of businessmen who were owing monies to Machakos County, having done very fantastic work with quite a number of projects in Machakos, the county government of Machakos was not able to pay them. And similarly, in the county government of Makueni, there are quite a number of bills which have been pending for years in the previous government, and even which have been carried forward to the current government. I'm aware the current governor of Makueni has made an attempt to pay quite a number of pending bills, having been clarified, but still we have a lot of money owed to contractors in Makueni, and this is, keeping the contractors very bitter and affecting even the taxation of the country, that such people would have paid taxes, Mr. Speaker, and the country would have progressed. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this motion is important. We've got to have a program of clearing as much as possible all the pending bills in the national government and all the pending bills in the county government, Mr. Speaker. And this affects the budgeting of the county. It affects the progress of the county. And therefore, it's a very, very important bill, Mr. Speaker. And I really motion, Mr. Speaker, and I want to support it, that let the country have a motive and a plan to clear all the pending bills nationally and the counties, and making sure that the same are clarified, so that the country is not defrauded through fake contractors and fake contracts, and whereby monies are owing. It is important to have a method of clarify, and as soon as a pending bill is clarified, Mr. Speaker, it should be paid. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Now, Senator Medu, you can utilize your 10 minutes. I can see you are now present. 10 minutes.
This one is the one that is working. Honorable Speaker, since I had already actually made a part of my own contribution, I would want to, and where I stopped, actually, Honorable Speaker, I was printing the image as a member of the Public Accounts Committee, and my vice chair is here, as to how county governments end up with holes in their own budgets. And I was pointing out to this particular scenario, which has had, it's uniform amongst all our counties, Honorable Speaker, in regards to their own source revenue, Honorable Speaker. Even as we say that we must be deliberate in making payment of pending bills a fast charge, Honorable Speaker, if county governments are not or do not estimate their own source revenue in regards to what they have collected within that financial year, or in regards to what they have been, looking at the pattern that they have had. Honorable Speaker, you find a county that has collected 450 million, 500 million, 600 million in their budget. Once you look at their budget statements, they estimate to collect 1.2 billion. Honorable Speaker, it is out of this budget that they develop their procurement plans. Ultimately, having expected to collect 1.2 billion, they end up collecting 700 million. They end up collecting 800 million. This then leaves a hole of about 400 million in their budgets. This is such a deficit that is something that counties, all of them, can be able to correct. Honorable Speaker, the intent, also because it must be seen and it must be known, and I know Senator Cherargei will be able to help me. There is also another budgetary provision that they intend to beat by overestimating their own source revenue. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution and the laws that we rely on, the Public Finance Management Act 2015, requires that at least 30% of the budgets of all the county governments, including even the national government, must be development. So, Honorable Speaker, this money that they put in their budgets, in their own source revenue, it is part of what goes to development. Because in most of the cases, Honorable Speaker, and I would want you to look at the pending bills that we are speaking about, not just for Nairobi, not just for Kiambu, not just for Mombasa. You rarely find pending bills for recurrent. You only find pending bills for development. So, Honorable Speaker, it is then something that county governments must take very, 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 very seriously in regards to their own source revenue. Number two, or finally, Honorable Speaker, I spoke about when I last stood here. I spoke about every government that, because governments have perpetuity, every government that comes in place, especially for counties that have had 2 governors, for counties that have had 3 governors, there are some counties that have had 4 governors. There are even some that, have more than 3. I think for Nyeri and Kiambu, they have had more than 3 governors. Nyandarua has had 3 governors. Once the first governor left office, when the second governor came to power, there was a pending bill verification committee. When the current governor came to power, there was a pending bill verification committee. Now, Honorable Speaker, if you have looked at your pending bills, all of them, you have processed them through the process. Then, out of them, you have a list of eligible pending bills. You have another list here of ineligible pending bills. If you have accepted that this is an eligible pending bill, why don't you pay it? I was asking here, Honorable Speaker, and I've been asking that question every time in the Public Accounts Committee, for a road that is that was done, a Maram road that was done in 2013, and that one sits in your books as pending bills. How do you send auditors to go and confirm whether that road exists? Now, with this kind of floods that we are having, Honorable Speaker, even main trunk roads are being washed away. Even tarmac roads are being washed away. What would become of a 12-year-old Maram road, Honorable Speaker? If we are speaking about a nursery school, there is a pending bill about a nursery school, Honorable Speaker. And you know, our people are suffering. Because I was saying, and I'm saying it, Honorable Speaker, pending bill is something that, when you look at the books, it looks like English. But the correct position is that pending bills is money. That somebody has rendered a service to government using his own money, and government has not paid that money, Honorable Speaker. People take loans, people die. It is becoming catastrophic to do business with counties, Honorable Speaker. It is least fashionable, unless the governor is your brother, unless the governor is your cousin, unless the governor is your boyfriend or girlfriend, or your husband for that matter. It is absolutely difficult to do businesses with counties, because there are 2 things. One, to even get that job, you have to know the governor very well. But more importantly, to get paid for that job that you have, or that service that you have rendered to that county government, it becomes very difficult, Honorable Speaker. As I wind up, it is not just about saying that pending bills are a fast charge. It is being seen, and the control of budget must be able to help, that before you approve payment of new bills, Honorable Speaker, there must be a roadmap of what you have done on the bills that are existent. Honorable Speaker, since 2014, the days of Dr. Edward Dewuko, the Auditor General that time, Honorable Speaker, he did an audit on the pending bills for all the counties. He gave them a report on the pending bills that they are supposed to honor. Some of those that were there in 2014, 10 years later, to this minute, Honorable Speaker, they have not been paid. If the control of budget does not help us in ensuring that the approval of all the requisitions that have been made by county governments, Honorable Speaker, in terms of settlement of pending bills, Honorable Speaker, if it is not chronological in a matter of the age of that bill, Honorable Speaker, because what is the sense, Honorable Speaker, of you getting paid for a job that you rendered last year, or a service that you rendered last year, and a person who rendered the same service 6 years ago is not getting paid? Why are you jumping the queue? Just because you know the governor? Just because you campaign for the governor? Just because you are, you have any relationship with the governor? That should not be the case, Honorable Speaker. It should not be a death sentence or suicide to do to offer services to county governments, Honorable Speaker. Secondly and finally, Honorable Speaker, as we speak about pending bills, if I was to go to the case of Nyandarua, in the books of the pending bills of the good county of Nyandarua, you will find a very huge pending bill on Okarao Stadium that has been constructed since 2013. 2013, Honorable Speaker, is the year that I joined university. So I have been at the university for 4 years. I graduated. I got married. I am now a father. I am now a senator. And a person who rendered the services when I was in the university, at the university, has not been paid, Honorable Speaker. You get the auditors are being told to go and verify that the grass was planted at Olkarau Stadium in 2015. Honorable Speaker, what are we doing to our counties? What are we doing to our resources, Honorable Speaker? And also finally, in terms of prudent use of resources, if the people of Nyandarua have never had an opportunity of using that stadium of Olkarau, where is prudence in the usage of that money? How do we say that the people of Nyandarua are deriving utility from that particular facility, Honorable Speaker? It is not just about pumping money to a project. It is about pumping money to a project that is helpful to the people. It's about pumping money to a project that the people can say, truly we can see our 100 million. Truly we can see our 200 million. Not on the books, not on the radio, not in speeches, but by using that particular facility. They should be able to point at JM Hospital and say, this hospital has got about 500 million, and that's why we are getting this kind of a service, Honorable Speaker. So I want to end it there. I want to say that I support that National Treasury must be able to do something, but most importantly, the control of budget must put her foot forward. Honorable Speaker, in the creation of the Constitution, there was a reason why the Office of the Control of Budget was created. It was to help us in terms of answering some of these questions. Because, Honorable Speaker, no money is drawn from the CRF without the direct node of the control of budget. So the person who is has the gate valve, I'm still speaking. The person who has the gate valve of money going to counties, Honorable Speaker, is the control of budget. If the control of budget rejects a requisition that has been done by the counties, that would be the only route to ensuring that we force, if we must, county governments and devolved units to honor their abuse. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I make my very humble submission, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Senator Chaligay Samson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to say I support this issue of pending bill, Mr. Speaker. Coming after one of my illustrious members of the committee, I was taking notes literally, impressed with the grasp of the issues, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you because this issue of pending bills, Mr. Speaker, there are many people in Meru, in Nandi, in Nyandarua, across the country, who are dead, who are taking diabetic drugs, who are taking pressure drugs, because their only mistake was to supply to the county government, Mr. Speaker. There are many people who have sold their properties. They are forfeited. I know of a number of many businessmen and women who took LPOs to bank to secure collateral security. They have lost their houses. They have lost their land, Mr. Speaker. They have lost their wealth, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we must speak with one voice as a country, Mr. Speaker. We cannot allow a section of Kenyans who sacrifice through their resources to ensure continuity of service provisions in state departments and county governments, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am aware that we have tried in the past, Mr. Speaker, even to try and ensure that when the money is being released as per Article 219 of the Constitution 2010, Mr. Speaker, it must be dispersed in immediate form, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me paraphrase what is happening at the moment. For example, Mr. Speaker, under the law, the budgets are budgeted by the county governments and the county assemblies. There is a procurement plan, Mr. Speaker. It means most of the county governments are violating the law. Because, Mr. Speaker, before public participation is passed, finance bill is processed, procurement plan is processed. Under the Public Finance and Management Act, it must be approved. Mr. Speaker, when you go here to National Treasury, Meru, Nandi, Vihiga, Mombasa, Garissa, Marsabit, even in Siaya, Homa Bay, money has been dispersed. But when you go to those counties, they are pending bills. For example, Mr. Speaker, my governor the other day called MCS to Kaimosi and told them we cannot do development in this financial year because we have a pending bill of 850 million. Mr. Speaker, but when you look at this schedule, Nandi has a pending bill of 306 million 553,678 as of the June last year, Mr. Speaker. And you can see governors are taking advantage. My governor, the governor of Nandi, called MCS and told them, we have a pending bill of 850 million. But the reality on the ground, as they say, vitu kwa ground ni tofauti, is 305 million. So this difference of 850 and 305 million, what was the intention? Is a way, Mr. Speaker, to misappropriate the funds, Mr. Speaker. Because the MCS do not have a way of verifying, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is also a misnomer, and I want to challenge the charge in Constitutional Petition E003 of 2023 in Kitale High Court, Mr. Speaker. And allow me to quote the High Court, Mr. Speaker, that rule that governors do not have power to form verification committees on pending bills. It is the exclusive domain, Mr. Speaker, of Office of the Auditor General to verify the pending bills in this country. That matter was canvassed. It was heard and determined by Kitale High Court in Petition E003 of 2023, Mr. Speaker. You find governors, because they don't like the face of Senator Fihiga, Senator Otsosi, they declare that pending bill ineligible. When they like your face, they declare that pending bill eligible to be paid, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank the High Court, the Kitale High Court, for that declaration, Mr. Speaker. They reserve and applaud, Mr. Speaker. Because where we were running governors who take office, come and verify, declare the pending bills fake, others genuine, Mr. Speaker. So that they can be able to eat in quotes. As Joe Gitongo said in his book, It's Our Turn to Eat. And they use a paraphrase that is common among the Mount Kenya people, Mr. Speaker, and I know you are well conversant, being a Njurinjeke, Mr. Speaker, that they say, even if your mother is old, is still your mother, Mr. Speaker. And that is what they have been using by the governors of this republic to plunder, pillage, larceny, corruption, Mr. Speaker, at the expense of our people. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my own professor who taught me civil law, civil litigation in Moi University at FLB 2201, Mr. Speaker, Professor Nixon Sifuna, who ruled the other day that if a county government, if a state agency fails to pay you, if parliament fails to pay you, you attack the property of that agency. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell many Kenyans who are suffering because of county governments, if you see the county government vehicle of Meru and they have your debt, clamp it, take it to the market, sell it, recover, do the recovery proceedings, Mr. Speaker. That is the only language they will understand. Even in Nandi, anybody who has supplied the resources, their money, should they spot even the governor's car with a flag, they should stop it, freeze it, seize it, sell it in an auction, do the recovery proceedings and pay themselves. That is the reasoning of Professor Nixon Sifuna in this recovery. And I think that is why the county governments enforce us, even the state departments. Professor Nixon Sifuna in his ruling, Mr. Speaker, sorry, I will supply the citation to members because I know this wisdom is rare, Mr. Speaker. It's rarely highly sought after. I'm willing to provide the full citation of that court matter, Mr. Speaker. That has reached a level, even if this parliament has a pending bill. And that is why some of us were questioning the opening and operationalization of Bunge Towers without paying the certificate that had been raised, Mr. Speaker. One day we will wake up and somebody who had given a bigger chain than what Senator Andrew Okiya Mutata used to chain himself at Milimani Law Courts, Mr. Speaker. We will wake up when there is a chain at the doors of Bunge Towers, Mr. Speaker. That is the spirit, the reason Professor Nixon Sifuna, the judge, has been canvassed, determined on that matter, Mr. Speaker, has come because it is what our people are, Mr. Speaker. How can you explain Nairobi Metropolitan Services, Mr. Speaker, which existed only for 2 years, has a pending bill of 14.5 billion? Nairobi Metropolitan, and it had only devolved 3 or 4 functions in the previous sector, Mr. Speaker. And you as Tuluri, the current CS of National Security and Interior, our brother, Majority Leader Emeritus Senator Professor Kithure Kindiki, ruled from where you are sitting, Mr. Speaker, and declared NMS as an illegal criminal enterprise. Mr. Speaker, they owe this nation 14.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, and it had only 3 functions. Mr. Speaker. Where is the money? Who had the money, Mr. Speaker? And therefore, even as this matter, Mr. Speaker, this matter should be referred to the County Public Accounts Committee so that we follow up and ensure there is implication, Mr. Speaker. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, I saw even in February this year, 2024, Mr. Speaker, when there was verification of pending bills, the Crop Development Authority was leading with a pending bill of 16 billion, Mr. Speaker, followed by NYS in State Department of 14.5 billion, Mr. Speaker. And do you know the sad reality, Mr. Speaker? The Kenyans who are being owed are 550,000, 20,000, 100,000. The ordinary people, Mr. Speaker. Why doesn't these people even have heart and conscience to pay even pending bill up to 5 million? You see some pending bill cases, Mr. Speaker, 50,000, 200,000, Mr. Speaker. What will be the mother in Gupu who is applying things to Meru County government being owed 50,000, Mr. Speaker, for 5 years, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I remember in circular number 20 of 2019, the Treasury, National Treasury issued a circular wanted to stop disbursement to 15 county governments for non-payment of pending bills, Mr. Speaker. What became of it? Mr. Speaker, in circular number 7 of 2023, on 21st June 2023, circular number 7 of 2023, the same National Treasury issued a circular trying to stop funds to specific counties. Because spending bill should be the first charge, Mr. Speaker. It should be the first charge. Why did they allow, Mr. Speaker? That is the law. The law is very clear. Who is violating the law, Mr. Speaker? And that is why you saw in Professor Nixon Sifuna ruling, the judge had to say, you can attach, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you look at Gazette Notice number 297 on 14 January 2005, when yours truly, I was in Form 3 at one of the greatest schools called Kapsabet Boys High School, the School of African Sons and Gentlemen, imbibing wisdom, Mr. Speaker. There was a Gazette Notice that 297 on the guidelines of payment of pending bills. Mr. Speaker, we are killing our businessmen and women unless we want to auction this country into the road to Shanghai for people who can give us money through Exim Bank and other organizations. But if we want people who are bottom-up, the people through bottom-up economic model, the better that the president is opposing, we must support those people who are younger there, Mr. Speaker. I can see my time is fast spent, Mr. Speaker. On this bill, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge governors. I want to urge the governors that they must ensure pending bills are paid to all Kenyans. Many Kenyans have sold their property. Many Kenyans have taken loans with the bank. I was talking with another gentleman. His house is almost being auctioned simply because of non-payment. And their only mistake was to trust and supply the entity. Their only mistake was to ensure the entity functions. Because when somebody supplies water to this chamber, we don't pay immediately. They have to pay to payment. They ensure parliament moves. They ensure county governments moves. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleague senators, we need to rise up to the occasion, Mr. Speaker, and stand with those ordinary Kenyans. I feel bad, Mr. Speaker, when I meet somebody in Nandi County who is being owed 20,000 shillings or 100,000 shillings, Mr. Speaker, or 500,000 shillings, Mr. Speaker, for the last almost 10 years, Mr. Speaker. This is one of the cancerous and the shame that people want to destroy with the aspect of devolution, Mr. Speaker. Devolution must be widened, must be deepened. But the only way to ensure devolution flourishes is to ensure service provision is never hindered, but by paying, Mr. Speaker. And we want to ask counties to raise their own source revenue also. Like Nandi has a potential of 630 million Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, even as we go into the future, we must agree as a nation that payment of pending bills should be a priority in all aspects, Mr. Speaker. We must ensure, Mr. Speaker, Even as the country goes through many challenges, I know during COVID, Mr. Speaker, we purchased most of the supplies out of what we call emergency or direct sourcing. I know with the current issue of floods, there will be many needs with the county governments, national government to supply services and goods like food, supplies, among others, to Kenyans who are suffering, while we empathize and send our condolences to many Kenyans who are suffering because of floods, Mr. Speaker. We must ensure also they are paid. Because I know there are many service provisions that is being needed at the moment, Mr. Speaker. Even as the planting season in Ongoing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to continue to call upon everybody. Mr. Speaker, finally, and this is finally, let people stick to procurement plan, Mr. Speaker. Let counties not to budget without allocation of resources. How can you budget to buy water in this chamber when you don't have a budgetary allocation? And that is what arises, Mr. Speaker. As one of your committees, Mr. Speaker, of Public Accounts, I hope this matter shall be referred so that, Mr. Speaker, we can interrogate, because this is a live issue, Mr. Speaker. This is a matter that is dear to many Kenyans. Many Kenyans have lost. I've said many Kenyans are on drugs like pressure, like diabetes. Others even have passed on, Mr. Speaker, because of the challenges of being owed by county governments, of being owed by state departments. Mr. Speaker, you saw there was even, I think another entity said they had 650 billion that need to be paid. I know there is national public debt, Mr. Speaker, but we must agree that going in future, we must have an ultimate responsibility. I am praying for one day, Mr. Speaker, that a governor will be brought here to be prosecuted because of lack of non-payment. You saw in my county there is what we call cremeries of almost 1 billion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker, of projects that have stalled, but is not, Mr. Speaker, that has not been paid, Mr. Speaker. Because of a fraction of expiry of my time, Mr. Speaker, I beg to rest and support, Mr. Speaker, and bring amendments if need be. I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I have a communication on the visiting lecturers and students from Bomet University. Honorable Senators, in the public gallery, we have 58 students and 2 lecturers from Bomet University in Bomet County who are undertaking a one-day education visit in the Senate. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. On this one, on behalf of the Bomet senator, who is not allowed in the chamber, I will ask Senator Asige Christo to welcome these visitors. Just a fraction of 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Speaker, for the honor to welcome to Senate the visiting delegation from Bomet County. I would like to extend my own warm welcome to you here this afternoon, even though it's a very rainy afternoon. We are very happy and honored that you decided to choose the Senate as a place that you want to come and experience and learn what we do here as senators of the Republic of Kenya. I do wish you a really fruitful stay, and hopefully we'll get to greet each other in the corridors before we all go home this evening. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Ososi Gonfrey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also make my valid comments on this motion by the Senator of Narok, Ledama Olekina, on the important matter of pending bills in our counties. Mr. Speaker, a few months back, the Auditor General, Madam Nancy, was heavily quoted by various media houses, trying to tell Kenyans that in accounting terms, there is nothing called pending bills. This is another invention by Kenyans. But in accountancy, there is nothing called pending bill. It's a debt. What they are calling pending bills is a debt. And she went ahead and questioned and said, every county, including national government, they have a budget. So you budget and say, these are the things I want to do for the year. So how come you end up not paying? You should pay. I think even as we're discussing this motion, Mr. Speaker, I am finding it a bit awkward for us to keep on lamenting about pending bills in our counties, in the national government, and we are doing nothing about it. Mr. Speaker, when you talk about pending bill, it means you have no budget control and performance in your county. Why do they pass budgets? Why do MCAs sit there and approve budgets? Why do those budgets, why are they taken to the control of budget? And what does the control of budget do with those budgets? These are serious questions that we should be asking ourselves, Mr. Speaker, because I think there are gaps in the process, which leads to people not being paid. Because if you have budgeted well, if the MCAs who approve this budget monitor the implementation of this budget, if the control of budget is able to look at the budget critically and approve requisitions that are made to her based on the budget that she has, we would not have this challenge of pending bill. We have this problem of pending bills. Apart from corruption, we lack discipline in our system, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have sat in this house, and every afternoon, I hear members raising statements on the issue of pending bills. I have raised a statement on pending bills in my county. They appear before the Finance Committee. They promise the Finance Committee they are going to do some things, but when they go on the ground, the culture continues. The bad manners continue. Mr. Speaker, we have had people with historical pending bills all the way in 2014 to now. These are people who have delivered. They constructed hospitals. They constructed roads. The roads are there, the hospitals are there, but they are being told they cannot be paid just simply because one or two papers are missing. Mr. Speaker, our county governments must be serious. And I think I want to agree with the amendments proposed by the mover of this motion, that one of the things we need to do is to insist on having a payment plan delivered to the control of budget. And this payment plan giving priority to historical bills, historical pending bills, so that you should not pay new bills when we have people who supplied in 2014, 2015, 2016, they have not been paid to date. Some of them have died. Some of them have closed business. And you are paying your friends current bills. Mr. Speaker, something has to be done. So I want to say that the biggest problem we are having is the payment of historic pending bills. And there are some of them are not paid because maybe the governor who is there did not like them. Or maybe they were competitors with the former governor. So he ends up not paying the historical pending bills. So to do justice to our people, I think this motion has to be amended to make it very clear that all historic pending bills must be paid by all the county government. I like the proposal in this motion that all these pending bills which are less than 1 billion must be paid before the end of this year. And the ones which are over 1 billion must be paid before 2024-2025 financial year. Mr. Speaker, this can be done. It is not something difficult to do. This House has powers. We are the ones who approve money that go into our counties. Why can't we exercise our power for the first time, so that our county government start doing the right thing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, very soon, today we have passed the division of revenue bill. Very soon, we are going to do allocation to our counties. Can we be very clear? These resolutions that we have in this motion, can we put it in that bill? So that one, we demand that historic pending bills be cleared before the end of this year. We demand to say that all the projects be completed, existing projects be completed before new ones are done. Because that's another problem we are having in the counties, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to suggest, as much as we are going to pass this bill, these recommendations that we are putting in here, we should also put it in the bill on county allocation that we are going to work on in the few coming days. Mr. Speaker, I started by saying pending bills is a sign of failure in our system. We established an office called Controller of Budget. Mr. Speaker, I want to be very clear that this office is not effective. This office is inefficient. And the Controller of Budget keeps on lamenting. But simple things that the committees of this House have asked the Controller of Budget to do, she's not doing. Mr. Speaker, this Controller of Budget appeared before PIC committee, and we directed her to prioritize the automation of our office. It has not been done. I am told now, because she has realized there are some monkey games that go on between governors and his officers and her officers, she has now decided to go through her files herself. And because of that, our counties are suffering. Approvals are being delayed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have raised an issue of diversion of funds. That there is a budget, she has a copy of the budget. Counties make requisitions to her. She looks at the requisitions, approves it. But then, when counties go home, they introduce new things. They pay new things. And the Controller of Budget is unable to resolve this problem. Mr. Speaker, I expect that one of the things that this House must do is to summon the Controller of Budget to appear in this House. We have a committee of the whole House, so that some of these issues affecting our office and affecting our counties can be addressed in this House, Mr. Speaker. And particularly, the problem of diversion of funds, which ends up being corruption, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we should also ask ourselves one important question. Why are our counties not able to meet targets on on-source revenue? Mr. Speaker, counties were established not just to be avenues for sharing the national cake, but also as economic units. They were to be economic units to generate their own money. But now, when the national government delays to send money, the counties are paralyzed because they are over-dependent on the money from the national government. When they have so many sources of on-source revenue, which either deliberately they have refused to maximize on that, or they are sleeping on the job. Mr. Speaker, it saddens that the defunct local authorities were making more money than the county government now. Then you ask yourself why. We are in an era of technology. They have more resources than the defunct local authorities, but they are not able to raise money to support their own source revenue. Mr. Speaker, I think this is another conversation that this House must have, the issue of on-source revenue in our counties. Because counties have now turned into employment bureaus. Counties have turned into corruption scenes. When we have avenues for on-source revenue. Mr. Speaker, the issue of delayed disbursement of funds. Mr. Speaker, next week I'll be bringing a motion on that in this House. I do not understand why this House, every year, we pass the disbursement schedule, indicating that monies will be sent to counties on the 15th day of every month. Then someone junior in Treasury decides to disregard all that and send money to the counties when he feels like. 3 months later, 4 months later, then why do we sit here to pass the disbursement schedule, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, this is another conversation that this House we must discuss. Because I do not want to go home and then I'm confronted by county employees asking me, Senator, why have we not been paid our salaries? And yet I have passed the disbursement schedule. The executive should stick to that. The motion I'm bringing here, Mr. Speaker, next week is to say that the schedule has to be respected. And if there is any variation, delay in disbursement, we do not want to hear rumors outside there. The CS for Treasury must appear in this House to tell us why he has delayed to send money to the counties. That is the only way we'll get these people to send money to the counties in time. Mr. Speaker, one of the pending bills in counties is pension and statutory deduction like NSSF. We have done a report in this House, it has been adopted in this House, that counties owe pensioners in excess of 80 billion shillings. And that report, someone is playing monkey games with it. We said in that report, Mr. Speaker, that we want the CS for Treasury to gazette the committee that is going to implement that report in 30 days. The CS has not done that because the Attorney General, who was the Speaker of this House, is sitting on that report. Mr. Speaker, the resolutions of this House must be respected so that we move forward and we move our county forward. Mr. Speaker, I have quite a lot of things to say on this matter of pending bills. I would only say that in my county, they appeared before the Senate Finance Committee and they made promises. I would like to see them implementing those promises and paying all the historical pending bills and any other pending bills they have within the next 2 years, Mr. Speaker, as proposed in this motion. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I fully support this motion, and I want to request members to also support this motion. But as I said, these outstanding issues that Senate needs to deal with, the matter of on-source revenue, the matter of diversion of funds, the matter of the performance of the
Senator Modigi Alexander.
Asante Bwana Spika, na unga mkono Senator wa Narok, lakini kuna kitu inafaa hiyo iweze kuangaliwa kwa sababu Bwana Spika, katika Kenya tuko county 47 na kila county iko na shida zake, na pia katika ulimwengu miti haitoshani. Kwa sababu Bwana Spika, unakuta wakati governor walichaguliwa wakati wa kipindi ya kwanza na kipindi ya pili, kaunti nyingi walikuwa wanachagua watu kulingana vile walikuwa naangalia, either ni ndugu yake ama ni mtu wa karibu, na watu wale walichaguliwa wengine wakati waliingia kwa ofisi walikuwa ni wezi, na wengine ni wakora na waragai. Na wakati wa hii kipindi ya mwaka wa 2022 kumechaguliwa magavana ambaye wanajaribu kusaidia ukatuzi. Kwa hivyo sisi tukiwa maseneta, Bwana Spika, hata kama tunasema watu walipo mandeni, tunajua kaunti nyingi siko na deni. Kama Embu County tuko na deni ambaye ni bilioni 2 na milioni 200. Na pia kuna kitu inaitwa wage bill. Kwa hivyo mimi ningeomba pia hata sisi maseneta ndio tuweze kusaidia ukatuzi, tuweze kuangalia kaunti zetu 47 kazi inafanyika namna gani. Kwa sababu tumeona hata kaunti zingine zimepatiwa mabilioni ya pesa, na ukienda kwa zile kaunti kama ile tulitembea kama Turkana zingine imepatiwa pesa nyingi kuliko kaunti kama zile zingine, kama kaunti ya Embu imepatiwa pesa kidogo, na saa hiyo sisi tunasema magavana wafanye kazi. Tukisema magavana walipe pending bill na wage bill, hatunjaangalia ni pesa ngapi amepatiwa, hatunjaangalia ni wafanyi kazi analipa, hatunjaangalia anaendelea namna gani. Kwa hiyo mambo mengine mpaka tuangalie, na pia sisi tukisema walipe mandeni, pia kule vijijini wale watu waliwachagua wanasema hakuna kazi mmefanya. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mpaka tuangalie tuone ni nini ambaye inaendelea, ndio tusikue hata sisi maseneta kama tunasema pia walipe mandeni tuweze kuangalia ama tunaweza kuwa wakatusi. Na ndio kwa upande wangu mimi nasema hata kama tukiendelea hivyo, naweza kusema hata sisi maseneta wakati ule mwingine tukuje tuangalie mtu moja, kura moja na shilingi moja, tukitoka hapo tuweze kuona itakuanji. Kwa sababu tukiangalia maseneta wakati tuliingia, unakumbuka vizuri bajeti ya kwanza magavana walikuwa wamesema wapatiwe bilioni 425. Na sisi tukasema tutawapatia bilioni 400 na pia na milioni 15. Lakini kwa sababu ya ile shinda ilikuwako wakati serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ilichaguliwa kukuwa pesa ya kutosha, tukaona tuwapatie bilioni 300, karibu bilioni 400, ilikuwa milioni 300 na bilioni 385. Kwa hivyo makosa ikafanyika. Hatukuweza kufikiria kwa nini gavana hao wasapa kazi hao wako na elimu ya kutosha, kwa nini walikuwa wameitiza hizo pesa. Kwa hivyo mpaka tuangalie upande wa gavana, na pia mpaka tuangalie mambo ya pending bill na wage bill inaendelea namna gani. Sio kila wakati tunasema tunawasapa. Na ndio tumeona wakati huu ambaye tumepitiza leo, tumesema tuwapatie bilioni 415. Na pia unakumbuka wambunge wetu ambaye ni wambunge ya kisasa ambaye wako wambunge ile ya chini wanawapatia bilioni 395, na unakuta na CRC inawapatia bilioni 405. Na sisi tunataka kuona kama tukiwaongezea tuone kama watafanya hiyo kazi yote. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, naunga mkono, lakini kuna mambo hata sisi maseneta hata kama tunasema pesa inakuliwa, mpaka tuangalie kwa nini magavana wanaitisha pesa nyingi. Kwa sababu kuna shinda kwa county, kuna mambo anatakiwa afanye, lakini unaona ile pesa haitoshi na mambo mengi. Na pia hata watu county nyingi watu wanaendelea kupandirika kutengeneza miradi ya maji na mambo singine. Na ndio naona njusi madaktari waligoma, watu wakaanza kusema pesa imekuliwa, lakini wakasahau hiyo ni kazi ambaye hospitali mambo ya afya iko katika county. Unakuta sina kama hizo inatokea mambo mengi kwa sababu magavana wako na unjuzi ya kufanya kazi, lakini bajeti zao haisilingani na ile pesa tumewapatia. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, ningeomba hata sisi maseneta tuweze kuangalia mambo inakuwa namna gani, lakini sio kila wakati yote pesa inakuliwa, na saa hiyo unaambia mtu alipe deni. Kama Embu iko na deni ya bilioni 2 na milioni 200, alafu hiyo unamwambia alipe, hana pesa ya kulipa misara, hata pesa ya National Hospital Insurance Fund, pesa ya banki watu walikuwa napata misara hawakuwa nalipwa, alafu umwambia alipe, atalipa na nini? Na saa hii wakati imefika ya county zingine kulainishwa na wale magavana wamechaguliwa. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, naunga mkono, lakini mpaka hiyo kitu iangaliwe ndio tuweze kukuja pamoja tuweze kusema mtu moja, kura moja na shilingi moja. Asanti Bwana Spika. Mimi Senator Dr. Alexander Munyi Mundigi, Embu County.
Senator Kipsang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, Mr. Speaker, I also arise to support this motion by Senator for Narok. Mr. Speaker, you know, this thing called bending bills, it's been there for long, and since the inception of devolution, Honorable Speaker, if you do the maths and calculate, because what we have currently now is 156 billion as bending bills, and majority of this, Honorable Speaker, is recurrent. So you wonder why there should be a bending bill on recurrent. You know, most of this could be salaries. Others, Honorable Speaker, is pension, statutory deductions, pay as you earn, pension, NHIF deductions, and one of the key reasons why, Honorable Speaker, some of these things arise, it's because of basically mismanagement. It means the governors are not managing the counties properly. Honorable Speaker, in the committee of CIPIC, we have had several meetings. I've had also my colleague Charargai talking about the CPAC. When you go through the books, when you go through the reports from the Auditor General, Honorable Speaker, you will realize that the county governments over budget on sources revenue, Honorable Speaker. Instead of being realistic and budget something that they know they are able to collect. Honorable Speaker, in fact, we want to urge our MCAs, when they are going through their budgets, before they approve the budget, they need to find out how much did the county government collect as on-source revenue the previous year, and should not accept anything more than 10% in positive variation, Honorable Speaker, because the reason why they over budget and it has created this mess, it is because our MCAs are not also very keen to ensure that the executive and the counties are put to check, and they are told, please, can you budget, be realistic. You cannot tell us you collected 300 million last year, and this year you want to collect 700 million. What would have happened? What is the miracle that would have made the county to double or even triple revenue, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, this is something that we need to monitor because our people have suffered, Honorable Speaker. Most contractors are closed business. Some people have been auctioned by the banks, Honorable Speaker. Some are depressed. Others have died because of non-payment, because after providing services or providing goods at the counties, Honorable Speaker. This motion is timely, Honorable Speaker, and we need to push to ensure that the governors, the county governments pay anything below less than $1 billion, Honorable Speaker, they pay before the close of the financial year. And then the remaining, those that are above $1 billion, then they pay within the next financial year, Honorable Speaker. Because, Honorable Speaker, we should not use the excuse that there are delays in exchequer. If there are delays in exchequer, you remember last year, before end of financial year last year, the Kenya Kwanza government fully dispersed. There was no delay by end of last financial year, Honorable Speaker. Maybe this financial year. And even if there are delays, by September, they would have gotten their allocations. And if they get, then they need to give priority to pay the contractors and not to pay salaries, Honorable Speaker, or other things that are necessary. In fact, Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker, sorry, you see there's a change of card at the...
There's change of guard, you may proceed.
Yeah, now, yeah, Madam Speaker, I thought I was insisting to say, Mr. Speaker, I didn't know you've changed your sex. Honorable Speaker, no, sorry.
It's the change of the speaker, point of correction.
Oh, change of the speaker.
The change of speaker.
Sorry, Madam Speaker, change of the speaker. Madam Speaker, is this thing on source revenue. People have suffered. And I've said, Madam Speaker, let our MCAs help the counties to ensure the governors, the executive are accountable. They should not budget unrealistic own source revenue. So, Madam Speaker, secondly, I want to also ask Madam Speaker that as they pay the pending bills, we want them to do aging analysis. The bills that have been there since 2013, 2014, they pay according to the age. They pay the older pending bills first, Honorable Speaker, so that our people may continue to trade, to employ. Because if you don't pay, it means basically when businesses close, there are people who will go home because they'll be rendered jobless. Madam Speaker, so they do aging analysis and give priority to the older debts, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the controller of budget also has a role here to play. And the role is she's the one who approves payments. And if a county doesn't give pending bills priority, she should not approve payments for the counties. And after approving, she should have a mechanism to follow up to ensure the county governments don't divert, because they can cheat also, Madam Speaker, to give pending bills as some of the things to be paid, but on the ground things are different. They pay other payments, and they don't pay what was on the list that has been approved by the controller of budget, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, these counties, I think we need to, they should not resist, because I know, Madam Speaker, CRA and the National Treasury, they have a conversation to assist the counties to come up with a revenue integrated management system that will be used by all the counties. But I have seen, it looks like there is a conversation that people are saying we are going back on devolution. When you give a system, it's not going back on devolution. You are helping them, actually. They are using IPMIS on expenditure. So if they are assisted to procure a system to collect the revenue, and they are not paying for this particular system, then we are helping them. Because the counties across, they have different systems. Some of them, we don't even know if the counties are getting the money or it is going to private persons' accounts, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we need to push and ensure that Treasury helps them to have that integrated revenue management system so that it is easy, real time. Central Bank will be able to see what they have collected. Otherwise, maybe what we are saying, on source revenue is not being collected, it's not enough. We could be losing maybe 50% of the revenue through other dubious means, Madam Speaker. Some could even be collecting cash. And if you collect cash, basically that's a leakage. That's an avenue for leakage of revenue, Madam Speaker. So it's important that they embrace the system that has been proposed to serve all the counties. Because if they are not resisting IPMIS, why should they resist integrated revenue management system, Madam Speaker? Because it will help them to ensure there are no leakages, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, at least I have checked here, my county is among, I know we are among the list that we received the list allocation, and I've seen El Marakwet County, the pending bills is just 2.7 million, it's not bad, but this doesn't mean that even these people who are the 2 million, they need to be paid. Because maybe kuna Mama Mboka who is getting maybe 50,000, 100,000. I want the governor to pay our people so that they can continue to trade. Madam Speaker, most of our pensioners are suffering. Some have even died